Hello, my fellow and future authors. This is Jyotsna Ramachandran here, and I'm back with this week's Facebook Live. So, we are going to talk about a very interesting subject today, which is about how I managed to create a business sitting from Chennai, and I'm able to reach out to even places like Chicago, and that too by doing all this on a shoestring budget. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. So, the reason why I thought I'll do this as a topic for today's live is because right now the entire world is going through a crisis, and I realized many of my friends, relatives, own family members are losing their jobs, and there is a sudden dip in their income. Their employers were supporting them for a month or two, but if this lockdown extends beyond a point of time, it's going to be really difficult for people to sustain their quality of life and grow their career. So it has become very difficult for people, and I thought that without my knowledge I managed to do certain things right in my business. Okay, 4 years ago when I started Happy Self-Publishing, I managed to do certain things the right way, because of which this month, that is the month of April, has been my highest ever month for both my agency as well as my academy, that is the Author Success Academy. So I thought that this is the right time for me to share the things that I did back then. Okay, 4 years ago when I started my business, I did certain things the right way, which is helping me today, so that all of you who are right now starting your own businesses or trying to pivot your business and start something new, or maybe leaving your jobs and starting something on your own, you can probably take some of these learnings and implement it so that you can do it the right way. And because the world is now ready for all of this, I think this is the best time for you to implement some of these things. How many of you are excited to learn something new? Please type new in the comments if you're excited to learn something new. In order to create a global business, you need two things, okay? So I'm going to talk to you about those two elements in today's video. The first element is to have a global mindset, okay? Even before you understand all the strategies, all the tools and tactics, it's really important that you tune your mindset to create your global business. So the first thing that you need to keep in mind to have a global mindset is this. You should directly start thinking globally. What do I mean by go directly global is this. Many people will tell you start small, be local, first start in your own locality and then start serving your city, then go to the statewide business and then go national and then global. This maybe is true for certain kinds of businesses. Like if, for example, if you're going to manufacture, say shoes, then maybe you want to manufacture from your, little unit inside your locality and then start scaling up, right? But today I'm going to talk about what will work if you're either having your own agency where you're going to serve people through your skills. Okay, you have a set of skills and you're creating a service-based business, and that agency need not be local. You can directly go global. Or you have some important knowledge. Okay, over the years you've accumulated a lot of expertise and you want to now teach people. So if you're either in the a business that can create online products like courses or coaching or communities, or if you want to have a service-based business, then you don't have to have this mindset of going local and then statewide and then national and global. No, you can directly go global. Please type directly global if you're able to understand that in order to go global, you don't have to go through the step-by-step process. If you decide that I'm going to serve a global market, you can directly go global, okay? So that's what I did when I started Happy Self-Publishing. In the very first month itself, we started getting clients from the US, Australia, the UK, because I did not restrict my services just to my city or my country, okay? So that's why it's really important that you directly start going global. Let me tell you a few more things to develop the global mindset. The first thing is to go directly global. The second thing is for you to understand that you don't need an office. Now people understand this right now better than ever before, because even those of you who worked in traditional offices, used to travel kilometers to reach your office, have all started now working from home because of no other choice, right? And now your employers and even you as a worker understand that you can really work very well even from home if you develop that mindset that you don't need an office. So if you're going to set up your business as well, even after this lockdown is all over, you don't necessarily need an office. You can do everything from home. You can create your virtual office and you can have a virtual team. So I have around 20 members in my team and I have not met 90% of them, right? If they are not in India, I have not met them, and most of them are in different places and they are all working from their homes. Not now, but from the time I started my business. So that's why you need to understand that today your clients don't really need to come and visit you. If you're running these kinds of businesses where you're selling your knowledge through courses or through your coaching or through your communities, or you're selling your services through your agency, your clients need not come and visit you. So remember that if you think that, oh my God, I need an office, that's when you'll think I should start an office in my locality. But if you think I don't need an office, you will directly think global, okay? So remember, you don't need an office like the setup that you see here. The third thing that you need to develop to have a global mindset is this. People think that there is something special about foreigners, okay? And most often, people living in third world countries like India and other Asian countries and even African countries really look up to people living in Europe, America, Australia. That's maybe because for generations, that's how it's there in our DNA, right? That we look up to people from the Western countries. So nothing wrong with that, but now is the time when it's an even playing field for everyone, okay? So there is no difference between whether you're living in India or you're living in Africa or any other part of the world, as long as what you have to offer is of value to people across the globe. So stop looking at people as if somebody is superior to you, because from my experience of people working from across the world, human beings are fundamentally the same. Whether a guy is living in Chennai or in Chicago, his emotions are the same. His problems are the same, okay? There is right now the pandemic is the best proof for all this, right? It's not that somebody in a particular country is safe from all of this. Everybody is going through similar problems. So we need to understand that there is nobody superior to us. Yes, there are certain cultural differences, certain work ethics are different, but you can quickly adapt and learn all of that. Maybe the language is different, the accent is different, but those are all superficial things. Fundamentally, people are all the same. How many of you understand this? Please type "we are the same," okay? Or type "same" in the comments if you believe that people living in other countries are no different from you. Okay, if you have something of value to offer them, they will pay you the money in whichever currency they want to, and they will avail your services and products. Okay, so please type "same" in the comments, because I want you to understand that you are as good as other people. Okay, so if you have that mindset, that's when you can have the global mindset. So go ahead and type "we are the same." Okay. The next thing I want you to understand is, for you to develop a global mindset, you need to completely digitize your business. One thing that can stop you from taking your business global is if you have everything in brick and mortar. That is, if you want to meet a client, you have to go meet them in a coffee shop or go meet them at their office. Okay, this is how traditionally most companies operate. This is how most businesses operate. But you need to break out of that. You need to believe that everything can be digitized. Okay, so I have my client meetings on Zoom or on Skype or on any other online platform. So you need to meet clients digitally. You need to hire your employees digitally. I go to Upwork.com, I go to Fiverr.com, and that's where I've been finding all my employees. All the people who've been working with me have come from these digital platforms. So you meet them online, you write to them online. Even my scheduling, before people used to use their calendar to write down stuff. But right now I send a Calendly link or a Schedule One link, and that's where people pick up their time to speak to me. So everything becomes, there is no need to have your, your pen and paper to do most of these things. Like for example, recently I had a client from Russia, and I have been having digital agreements. Like agreement is something that people believe you need to really sign, right? But for the last couple of years, I've been having all my contracts with my clients digitally. So I do an e-signature, and to the same document, they do an e-signature, and the contract is done. But recently I had a client who was still, very old school, and they said, sorry, we can't do digital signatures. Maybe I will sign and I will scan and I will send. I said, sorry, we don't work that way. If you want to work with us, you need to follow these new age techniques. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for my team, going back and doing the things the old way. So believe that you can digitize every part of your business. You don't need, as long as you have a computer and you have good internet connection, that's all you need to digitize everything. All my documents are not even saved on my computer because I don't want to be dependent on one computer. What if my computer crashes? So all my documents are on the cloud. It's on a Google Drive, so all my team members can access. So make it easy, take every part of your business and see how can I digitize this. So that way you won't be dependent on anything physical, so that you can quickly take your business global. So let me quickly do a recap for you all. For you to develop the global mindset, okay, so that's the first thing. Before I talk about all this nice marketing strategies, you need to realize that it all starts with the mind. So for you to have the global mindset, you need to first directly go global. Okay, you don't have to have any step-by-step process. If a person can buy your course in India, a person sitting in any other part, okay, Italy, Greece, France, anywhere else, can also buy your course. Okay. The next thing is you don't need any office space. So remember that very clearly. You can very well operate from home. All human beings are the same, irrespective of their nationality or race. And you need to digitize your business. Once you have all of this ready, your digital mindset is set. Okay. The next thing, once you have your mindset ready, is to develop the global marketing strategies. Okay. So now that your mind is really clear that yes, my clients are global, now you need to start reaching out to people globally through your smart marketing strategies. Now, I have not, for the sake of this presentation, I have not created anything new. I'm exactly going to show you the screenshots of what I started doing 4 years ago for Happy Self-Publishing. So, for anybody to buy from you, there are 3 prerequisites, okay? The 3 prerequisites are, people should know you, they should like you, and they should trust you, okay? It's very simple. Unless they know you, like you, and trust you, they will not have the faith to invest their hard-earned money in your products or services and pay you, right? So these are the 3 things you need to establish very well before you even start doing any selling. So these are the marketing things that I'm going to talk about. Now let me first start with the knowing part. How will people start knowing you? You're living in your own city, whether it's a small village or a town or even a metro city. You are still living in one particular city, right? How are you going to make sure that the people globally know you? First of all, you need to hang out and help. So when I started Happy Self-Publishing, I really wanted to know everything about publishing. So I started taking online courses from people across the world. Okay, I started following mentors and teachers from different parts of the world. So while I was learning from them, I also made sure that I joined their online communities. So there are several online communities for authors. Likewise, ask yourself what profession you belong to. Maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a doctor, maybe you are a digital marketer or whatever it is. Go and start being a part of online communities, okay, which are global. So the first thing, by what I mean by hanging out, is be a giver in these communities. Okay, first go let people become familiar with you. And how do you do that? By not spamming them, but by genuinely helping people out inside those communities. So when I was a part of these author communities, I would give my genuine feedback. I would write book reviews for people who are launching their book. I would give my inputs to people. I would help them in every possible way. I will go and share what has been working for me. So that way, if there are 1,000 people in that community, I would always be the top 10 in any community I am part of, because I really want to stand out. Otherwise, what's the fun, right? Just being a passive person in a community. So it's really important that you stand out, and by doing that, you don't, and the way to do that is not by just shouting in the communities, but by offering genuine value. So the first thing I did for me to be known globally is to be a part of these global online communities. Many of them are are available free of cost, and there are some paid communities as well. See whichever community resonates with you, and you don't have to be in 10 different communities. Even if you're a part of 3 good communities, it's more than enough, because you need to give your time to these communities. So spend about 30 minutes to 60 minutes every day being in that community, seeing what others are doing, learning from others, and helping them out. Okay, so the first thing is online communities. The next thing is to be liked. Okay, the next thing is people should like you. After they know you, they should start liking you. So how do you do that? So once you are a part of this online community, the next step is to start bringing them to your online hub. The best way to do that is to start providing regular value. If you noticed, every week I do a Facebook Live, And why do I do that? Just to give back to the community that has been following me, right? So once people know you as a member of other communities, you should slowly start bringing them to your website or your Facebook page, your Facebook group. Then how do you do that? Is by giving a lot of value. So currently my Facebook group has more than 1,600 people. How did they all join? Because they noticed that somewhere online I'm giving value and they want to learn more from me. So back then I did not have this Facebook group, but I just started my website happyselfpublishing.com, and the first thing I started was a blog. In fact, for the first few weeks, I was so scared to write my own blog that I went to these communities and I told those authors that, you know what, I've started a blog and I'm looking for some guest contributors. So a lot of authors jumped at the opportunity and they contributed blogs, which I went ahead and published on my website. I would mention their name as the blogger or the contributor, but it came to my website, right? It was hosted on my website, and that made my website valuable. So you can do the similar thing. Another great way is to collaborate with other people in your niche is, for example, if you are, say, a teacher or a singer or whatever. I'm just looking at some of you online and trying to pick your profession. So, for example, if you're a singer, then you can make a list of the top 10 albums that particular year. So what you do is you reach out to those other 10 people and you tell them that you're featuring them inside your blog. So most probably what will happen is those guys will go ahead and share your blog to their audience. So that will bring traffic to your blog. So they can do so many nice things, but what's really important that you need to know is you need to give lots of value. Okay, that's how you build the like part of the equation. So people know you through other communities, then they like you for the value you give. So one thing I did was I had my own blog. The next thing I did was once I developed more confidence, I started putting out videos on my YouTube channel. That gave me some traction. Then I launched a podcast. This was a game changer for me. I did only one season of the podcast, but I did 50 interviews. So for 1 week, I did one interview every week, and every week I would call a successful author and I would ask them what is that one good thing that they did which helped them. They would give in a lot of value, and I would host that on my website. I would post it on iTunes and a lot of different places. So remember, you need to give massive value inside your hub, okay, inside your website, inside your Facebook page or Instagram page or whichever online platform you choose. The third part of the equation, okay, to get people globally to buy your products and services is to build that trust. This is the most important thing, because however likable you are, unless they trust you, they're not going to give you their money. Okay, so for building trust, it won't happen overnight. It takes a period of time. Okay, you need to build it little by little, but you need to start somewhere. Okay, and I believe that most of you are already doing really well in whatever you're doing. It's just that you need to take it global, and for that you need to build that trust. So these are certain things that I did, which I highly recommend that you can do as well. The first thing is to gather testimonials. Now, I'm sure within your city or within your locality, you must have served some clients, right? If you're new to your business, give away free samples, do free service, and let people experience your products and services. And then when they say, wow, awesome, immediately ask for a testimonial. So back then I got a good number of video testimonials from my clients. And how did I get? They did not come forward and give, but I went and asked for them. Okay, and the moment you ask if your service or product has been good, people will say yes. And for some people who are not comfortable with camera, I said it's okay, just write a couple of lines and send me. Now what I do is I have made this process even more efficient. I have registered myself on a review writing website called Trustpilot, and in the last 1 month I've got more than 25 reviews from people who watch my webinar, who've taken my courses. And again, I do the same thing. I ask them for a review, and most people are kind enough to go ahead and write that if they found my service valuable, right? So go ahead and ask. The next thing that really worked for me is recommendations. Now, recommendation doesn't have to be from a person who has necessarily worked with you as a client. It can be a person who is very well known in your industry. You reach out to them, you talk about the great work you do, you serve them, you help them in some way, and then ask them for a recommendation. For example, this Brian Tracy's video that I put out on my website helped me convert so many clients, because even before they came and spoke to me for their work, what they did was they immediately got convinced by just seeing Brian's testimonial. And how did I get that? The best way to get any favor from somebody is to help them in the first place, right? So when Brian Tracy launched his online course on it was a specific course for speakers, how speakers can become better public speakers or something like that. So I love that course. Okay, it was a very useful course. So I started promoting it to my audience, to my clients, to all the people I know on social media. And he had a proper affiliate program, and he was tracking all the people who were promoting his course. And I ended up being his #1 affiliate for that course. That is, among all the people who were promoting the course globally, I was the #1. Okay, and this is something I didn't expect. But since I was promoting it genuinely and I was putting in a lot of effort, I happened to be #1. So somebody from his team wrote to me asking, how can we help you? Thank you so much for doing this. So I said it would be great if I can get a testimonial from Brian Tracy. So he took a look at the work that we did, and he was so kind enough to record a video and send it to me. So that's how I got that recommendation. So if you have anybody in your industry whom you look up to as your mentor, or as your godfather or somebody like that, go ahead and ask them for this favor, and you may get it. Okay, so there's no harm in asking. Okay, the next thing that you can do to build trust among your clients is to get featured. Initially people didn't come and start interviewing me overnight. I went on a podcast tour when my book got launched. What I did was I started reaching out to podcasters. So instead of doing a physical book tour where people go to one bookstore after the other in different cities, I did a virtual podcast tour. So I went to different podcasters. I told them, this is the book I have launched. It has become a bestseller. These are the 3 things I can teach your audience. Can I come as a guest on your show? And I went on a dozen podcasts. Okay, so that was my initial experience of being interviewed. I went on a lot of podcasts. And after I became popular in that circuit, people started asking me if they can interview me. So I have come on television, newspaper, magazine, radio. So a lot of local coverage also I got in my own city. All that happened after I voluntarily went and gave interviews in podcasts. So before people can come and interview you, you go and get yourself interviewed. And again, I did not pay anybody to be on any of these podcasts. They were looking for good quality interviews for their own show, and they just saw that I was a good fit. That's it. But I had to put in that effort to get myself interviewed. The next thing I did was to get featured on prominent platforms like TEDx. Again, nobody from any of the TEDx organizers came and voluntarily offered me on a platter. That did not happen. My goal 2 years ago was to be on a TEDx stage. And why TEDx? Because it's a globally recognized platform. Okay, so I thought it would be wonderful to be on a TEDx stage. So what I did, I went to TED.com, and there you can see the events happening in your city, in your state, in your country. So I went and made a list of all the upcoming TEDx events in India. Okay, and then I wrote to about 10 different organizers who are having events in the next 3 months, and I told them a few things. Okay, one is I shared a few of my videos so that they knew that I can speak well. And then I said I'm an author, because that added some more credibility. And what else did I do? I think, yeah, that's about it. I told them that, and I also gave them some interesting topic ideas, because that topic should be worth sharing, right? The ideas worth sharing are the ones that get featured on TEDx. So I gave my idea that I wanted to share. I said that I'm a good speaker, and I gave proof by sharing some of my videos. And I said that I'm an author. Once I wrote to all these people, a lot of them wrote back to me. I think 7 out of 10 reverted to me, and 3 of them immediately gave me an opportunity to speak on their stage, but I could only fit in 1 because of my schedules. So immediately that effort that I put for a single day, reaching out to all these people, led me to speak on a TEDx stage. And the next year, the tables turned. Now I didn't have to go back and ask people. I started getting a lot of requests to speak on stages. So the next year, which was in 2019, I was asked, and I went and spoke on a TEDx stage. So that's how things work. You first put in the effort, and then people recognize, and they start coming and asking you. So another recommendation for all of you is to get featured on global platforms like TEDx. There are several other platforms as well. See what is a suitable fit for you and do that. The next thing that I highly recommend for you is to get yourself registered in industry directories and associations that are relevant to your chosen niche or industry. So for my industry, that is publishing, the Alliance of Independent Authors, it's a very relevant association because all self-published authors are registered there. So I went and registered myself there, not just as a member, but also as a vendor. Similarly, in self-publishing school, I am a registered vendor because once I do that, all the people who are looking out for services related to publishing will find me. Now, if I only look at my local Rotary club or any other local club, it's good. I have been on Rotaries, I have been inside BNI meetings. These are also good, but that will only give you a small exposure locally. But if you need global exposure, you need to find what are the global directories. It's like Yellow Pages, but globally, right? So you need to find global associations where you can be a member or where you can go and do a webinar. Just explore that opportunity and get yourself listed, okay? That's another way where I get clients from so many parts of the world because they find me on all these global platforms. Okay. And finally, the ultimate thing that you can do to get your global audience is to become an author. Because once you write your book is not restricted to your country or your city. It's going to be available on Amazon globally, right? So anybody can go through your work and they can get in touch with you. And that's another great way to get clients. Even if that person has not read your book, the very fact that they have seen you as an author inside your website will position you as a global leader. So it's really important that you go ahead and become an author. Okay, so let me quickly do a recap of all the things that you can do for marketing yourself. Okay, so for marketing yourself globally, you need to adapt global marketing strategies. For that, you need to be known, liked, and trusted. So to be known, what you need to do is to go to online communities, hang out there, become one of the top 10 people in that community and start helping out people. And then they need to start liking you. For that, you need to start inviting them to your website by posting your blog, by posting your videos, by podcasting and interviewing other people. That's how you build your network and you give massive value. And once you do this, you should be trusted as well. For that, what you can do is start gaining testimonials from people, ask people to give, ask people for recommendations, get yourself featured on all kinds of media, whether it's podcasts, blogs, or newspapers. Initially, you will have to ask, and later they will start asking you. And also get featured in global platforms like TEDx. Also be listed in directories and associations which are relevant to your industry. And finally, become an author, because I think this is the ultimate way to position yourself as a trusted expert in your industry. Okay, and if you guys have found this Facebook live session useful, then I welcome you all to attend my live webinar where I go in detail. It's a 90-minute webinar where I go in detail and share with you how can you become a trusted expert in your niche in just 7 days. So how can you gain the credibility of an author and do certain things within a week's time that will position you as an author, in the eyes of your target reader globally. So that's the intention of that webinar. So if you're interested in that webinar, what I'll do is I will leave the link after this session gets over. In the comments, I will leave the link to go register yourself for that webinar. I hope you found this session useful today, because I thought that this is something that I've not really shared much about my global business, because I keep talking about books all the time. I thought this is a good time for me to go ahead and share about my business as well. All right, so I hope you guys found this useful. Thank you so much for tuning in live, and thank you for all of you who are also watching the replay later. All right, and yeah, I'll see some of you inside my webinar soon. Bye-bye.